Hey everyone, I've got a quick skill builder for you today showing you how to add decorative trim to your zipper panel. There was a question in one of the Facebook groups asking about how to add this kind of vinyl trim to a zipper gusset, so I wanted to put together a quick video for you. This version has no raw edge on the outside, although if you prefer to, you can just simply add a strip over the top of your sewn-in zipper. I'm going to show you two slight variations on how to do it. One done each way on this particular zipper pouch so that you can decide what suits you best. I do want to caveat that this method is not going to work on every type of bag. So if you have a pouch like this one, for example, it's not going to work for dressing this zipper. It's not going to work on this type of crossbody bag where you have the zipper coming right up to the top here. It is going to work on bags where the zipper is flat on the top of your bag. So something like this, it will work on. And also if you have a bag with this type of gusset that goes around it, you could use it there. And another place that you can use it would be in a bag that has different sections, and you could use it between the sections of the bag to just add a little bit more interest to your finished product. So let's get going. For this tutorial, you will need your zipper panels. You will need both the exterior and the interior of your zipper panel. You'll need your zipper tape, and you will need your vinyl trim. My vinyl trim starting piece is 1 1/4 inch by the full length of my zipper panel. The reason being that I'm going to use a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance on either side of that cut piece of vinyl. And once it's folded under on one side and incorporated into the zipper seam on the other edge, the finished size will be approximately 1/2 inch. If you want your trim to be wider or narrower than that, then you can adjust your height of your trim piece accordingly. You'll also need double-sided tape, ruler, pen, a seam roller will come in really handy, and obviously your sewing machine so you can sew in your zipper panel. We're going to start with our trim pieces. The first thing that we're going to do is just draw a line on the back so that we can fold over the first edge. We're going to be folding it under 3/8 of an inch. So we're going to draw a line that is double that, which is what we will fold the raw edge in to meet. Take your double-sided tape, and we're just going to place it against this line here. Then we're going to fold the raw long edge up to the line that we drew. Make sure that you're folding it straight across so that you don't get any twists or bumps in your trim. Now I just press that with my seam roller. We've got our trim pieces there. Then you're going to take your exterior. Take your double-sided tape, and you're going to run a strip of double-sided tape along the top of your exterior panel. You're then going to lay your trim piece down with the right side facing up, so the wrong side is down on top of that exterior. Do the same for the other piece. And this is where you get to make a choice. You can choose to top stitch along this trim piece here with it just stuck in place with your double-sided tape and then attach your zipper, or you can choose to do your zipper installation and then top stitch. The reason that you may choose to top stitch along here first is that once you're installing your zipper, depending on the pattern itself, you may find it difficult to top stitch through just the exterior, and you may be top stitching through your lining as well. And if you don't want that extra line of stitches inside the gusset of your bag, then you can choose to sew this on first along this edge before you install your zipper. If you are going to do it that way, it would be reasonable to also baste along this top edge to make sure that that vinyl does not shift. So I'm going to show you that way and the other way. So let's head over to the machine. Using a longer stitch length, I'm going to sew first up the raw edge to baste that trim piece in place using a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And when we come down here, we're going to pivot. I'm going to sew straight down this edge using the edge of the presser foot as a guide to keep a nice, straight, even stitch line all the way down, adjusting your tension if you need to get a nice, even stitch. Pivot at the end, and come back up to where we started. So that is the trim piece attached on this side, and then you would just go ahead and sew your zipper in per the usual pattern, and then this trim will get incorporated into that zipper. Set that one aside, and now we're going to be working with this one. We have our trim piece taped in place just at the top edge, and what we're now going to do is put another piece of double-sided tape on the top there. You can baste this trim piece in place before you attach your zipper if you are worried about it shifting. Peel off the double-sided tape, and then you're going to place your zipper teeth side down on top of that trim piece, right up against the edge. Basting this zipper in place. So here you have your zipper, right side together with your trim, which is now basted onto your exterior with the raw edge folded under. And now we're going to grab the interior of our zipper panel. Place double-sided tape along the top edge, and then you're going to place the interior of your zipper panel or gusset, following along with the way that you would normally install your zipper for the particular pattern that you're working with. The only difference being that you have that extra piece of trim between the exterior and your zipper. And then we're going to finish sewing in the zipper the way that you normally would do. The zipper is sewn in place, so now we are going to trim our threads, and then we're going to fold that over to top stitch. And when we top stitch, we are going to be top stitching next to the zipper and also around the outside edge of that trim piece. Depending on the pattern that you're using, you may be able to do your top stitching without top stitching through the lining if that is something that you prefer to do. But for some patterns at this point, the gusset piece or the interior part of the zipper panel is going to be underneath like this. And it does get a little bulky. You just want to press that down really, really well. You can even trim some of this without trimming the zipper itself if the bulk causes problems on your machine. So we're going to put some double-sided tape under here. And first take the exterior. You can see here, this is the back of our trim piece. Just going to press that in place. And I'm going to take another strip of double-sided tape. We're just going to put it outside of what will be the top stitching seam allowance on this trim piece. Peel that backing off also. And then you're going to fold that over onto your exterior. And then when we go to top stitch, next to our zipper, we're going to sew all the way around, sewing down this unattached edge of our trim piece. If you are able to, based on the pattern that you were doing, you can leave that lining out of the top stitching. I'm going to sew mine in place. I'm just making a boxy bag here, so I'm going to sew all of the trim and the exterior and the lining and the zipper together all at the same time. It is a lot of layers, so just keep that in mind when you are using your sewing machine. If you can see there, it is quite a lot of layers that we're going to be sewing through. But where it is folded under here, you should not be sewing through that. You should just miss that. So let's go and see how we go. Starting in the side seam so we can back stitch, and making sure that your tension is correct for the number of layers that you're sewing through. I'm just sewing straight down this edge next to the zipper. Pivot when you get to the end. Pivot again. And we're now going to sew down this open side, sewing through the trim, the exterior, and the lining. So you can see here the top stitching on the inside of your zipper panel. I'm now going to show you how I would install using the other method where you won't see that top stitching on the inside. You'll just see the top line of top stitching from your zipper install. So we're going to do the other side of the zipper. Take your panel with your trim piece fully installed, put your double-sided tape along the top, and then you're going to lay that completed exterior panel face down onto that zipper. And then we're going to go and sew along this edge. Take your double-sided tape, attach your other lining to the back so that you will be sewing through, again, your exterior, the trim piece, the zipper, and the lining. The exact way you're going to do your zipper panel is going to vary based on which pattern you're using, but the idea is the same. And then just sewing along this edge here. And then you're just going to go ahead and top stitch that zipper as per the pattern next to your zipper tape. Use my seam roller to press that crease down. Make the bulk there easier to handle. And when I top stitch, I will be sewing just through the lining next to the zipper, not further into the lining like we did on this side. So those are the two variations on how you can install your zipper trim so that you don't have any raw edges on your bags and you have a nice straight install next to your zipper. This one with the 2 rows of top stitching seen on the inside, and this one with just the 1. And you can choose which one to do based on the pattern that you're using and your personal preference. So you would just then continue along with sewing up your bag as per the pattern, treating this zipper panel just as you would if you didn't have the extra trim piece. That is all sewn up now. Something that I will say is that there is a little bit of a difference in how your trim piece looks depending on which method that you use. This side here, where I have sewn the trim piece in place completely before sewing together my zipper and the rest of my bag, sits much flatter than the piece that I attached with the open edge and then top stitched at the same time as I top stitched my zipper. So you can decide which of those two looks you prefer. This one has a little bit more depth to it, whereas this one sits more flush with the bag. So if you have a preference in how yours will appear, you can just take that into consideration. But overall, I think it worked pretty well. And it just adds a little something different to your bags. Hope that helps. Thanks, everyone.